Master 5 Simple Habits That Transform Your Life. Prologue. The alarm nobody wanted to hear. At 5:47 a.m. on a Monday in November, Marcus Rivera stared at the cracked ceiling of his studio apartment and made a decision that would change everything. He hadn't slept. Not really. The kind of half-sleep that leaves you more exhausted than you started. Chasing thoughts about overdue rent, a job he had quit in a fit of frustration 3 weeks ago, and a phone full of unanswered messages from people who were starting to give up on him. He was 28 years old and he felt ancient. For 2 years, Marcus had been coasting, or rather sinking slowly, the way you don't notice a ship going down until the water is at your chin. He told himself stories. I'll start Monday. I'll fix this when things calm down. I just need one lucky break. But Monday had come and gone 100 times. Things never calmed down. And luck, it turned out, wasn't something that visited people who stayed in bed. On that cold November morning, something cracked open inside him. Not dramatically. No thunderbolt. Just a quiet, exhausted recognition. If nothing changes, nothing changes. He sat up, swung his legs over the side of the bed, and whispered to himself, 7 days. Give it 7 days. 5 habits. A new self. He had no idea if it would work. But for the first time in 2 years, he decided to try. Day 1. The habit of showing up. Habit number 1. Begin before you're ready. Marcus pulled out an old spiral notebook, bought to write a screenplay that never got past page 3, and wrote one line at the top of a clean page. I don't have to be great today. I just have to begin. He laced up his running shoes. Worn at the heel, untouched for months. No plan, no app, no playlist. He just walked out his front door into the gray morning air and started moving. He made it 4 blocks before his lungs burned and his calves screamed. He stopped. He put his hands on his knees. He thought about turning back. Then he thought, what if I just go 1 more block? He did. And then 1 more. He ran, if you could call it running, for 11 minutes before walking home. It was embarrassing by any athletic measure. But as he stood outside his door, breathing hard, something unexpected flooded his chest. Pride. He had shown up. He had done the thing he said he would do. That feeling was a seed. Light bulb mindset lesson. The most powerful moment in any transformation is not the breakthrough. It's the beginning. Beginning, even badly, even awkwardly, is an act of defiance against every voice that says you're not ready. You are never fully ready. That's not a bug in the system. It's how the system works. Day 2. The habit of silence. Habit number 2. Protect your morning mind. Marcus woke at 5:45 a.m. without the alarm. He made coffee and sat by the window. No phone. No news. No scroll. Just 10 minutes of quiet. It felt uncomfortable at first. His fingers kept reaching for his phone. His mind kept generating anxiety about tomorrow, guilt about yesterday. But he let it run. He watched his thoughts the way you watch clouds, there and then gone. Around the 8-minute mark, something settled. A clarity arrived that he hadn't felt in years. He picked up his notebook and wrote 3 things he was grateful for. Not grand things. Just good coffee, the sound of pigeons outside, the fact that he had woken up at all. In that silence, Marcus started to hear himself again. The real self, not the voice that catastrophized or procrastinated, but the one underneath, quieter and steadier, that knew exactly who he could be. Light bulb mindset lesson. The world is engineered to steal your attention. Reclaiming even 10 minutes of silence each morning is a radical act. It's in the quiet that you stop reacting to your life and start designing it. Protect your first hour. Day 3. The habit of one hard thing. Habit number 3. Do the thing you're avoiding. Day 3 was the hardest day. Marcus had been putting off a phone call for 6 weeks. His older brother Darius had left voicemails he hadn't returned. Their relationship had fractured over $400 that Marcus had borrowed and never repaid, and the shame of that debt had calcified into silence. He dialed at 7 a.m. His hand was shaking. Darius answered on the second ring. There was a pause, the kind that carries years inside it, and then Marcus said, "Hey." I'm sorry it took me so long. They talked for 40 minutes. They laughed. They argued a little. They found their way back to something that resembled brothers. When Marcus hung up, he sat very still. He realized the weight he'd been carrying wasn't the debt. It was the avoidance. The avoidance had been draining energy he needed for everything else. And now, having done the terrifying thing, he felt lighter than he had in 2 years. Light bulb mindset lesson. Every hard conversation you avoid, every task you defer, every truth you refuse to face becomes a hidden tax on your energy. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's choosing to act despite it. Identify the one thing you're avoiding, and do that first. Day 4. The habit of learning. Habit number 4. Feed your mind intentionally. On day 4, Marcus went to the library. He felt almost embarrassed walking in, as if learning required permission. He picked up a book on habits, one on financial literacy, and a slim volume of essays by James Baldwin he'd always meant to read. He sat for 2 hours and read. Not scrolled. Read. Something shifted in his relationship with time. 2 hours felt like 10 minutes. His mind was making connections, pushing back, asking questions. He left with 2 pages of notes and the particular energy that comes from learning something that reframes how you see yourself. One line stopped him cold. Your life is essentially the sum of your habits. What you do repeatedly, you become. He wrote it in capital letters and taped it above the kitchen sink. Light bulb mindset lesson. You are always either learning or stagnating. 20 pages a day is a book a month. 12 books a year. A year of intentional reading can change your thinking entirely. Knowledge compounds just like interest. Day 5. The habit of reflection. Habit number 5. End each day with intention. By day 5, Marcus had established a rhythm. Morning run, 10 minutes of quiet, gratitude list, hard thing, reading. It wasn't glamorous. It was deeply ordinary. But ordinary, done consistently, was beginning to feel extraordinary. That evening, he sat with his notebook and asked himself 3 questions. What went well today? What would I do differently? What am I looking forward to tomorrow? 12 minutes. But in those 12 minutes, he began to see himself with more clarity and less judgment. He noticed patterns. Moments where he defaulted to old habits, and also moments of genuine progress he would have otherwise forgotten by morning. He wrote, I am not who I was 7 days ago. I don't know who I'm becoming. But I'm paying attention now. That's new. Light bulb mindset lesson. Growth without reflection is just motion. The daily review transforms experience into wisdom. 5 minutes at the end of each day asking what worked, what didn't, and what's next is the quiet engine of real transformation. Days 6 and 7. The habit of continuing. Day 6 was a Saturday. Marcus woke up and didn't want to do any of it. He lay in bed thinking, what's the point? 7 days won't fix 2 years. Who am I kidding? He felt the old gravity of inertia pulling at him like something deep in the earth. He got up anyway. Not because he felt motivated. Not because he believed in himself in some pure cinematic way. He got up because he had told himself he would. Because the version of himself he wanted to become was the kind of person who gets up when he doesn't want to. He ran. He sat in silence. He read. He did not do it with fire or passion. He did it with grit, that quieter, duller, more reliable form of fuel. On day 7, something unexpected happened. He didn't want to stop. He wasn't fixed. He wasn't healed. His rent was still overdue. His career still needed rebuilding. But something inside him had shifted so fundamentally that the external problems felt approachable for the first time in years. He had evidence, small but real, that he was someone who could do what he said he would do. And that evidence changed everything. Epilogue. The person you become. 6 months later, Marcus had repaid his brother. He had a new job, not perfect but real, with room to grow. He ran 3 days a week without thinking about it. He had read 14 books. But the most important change wasn't any of those external facts. It was this: when Marcus looked in the mirror, he recognized the person looking back at him. He still had hard days, skipped workouts, lost his temper, made mistakes. The difference was that he no longer believed his worst days were his truest ones. He had built a body of evidence, one day, one habit, one choice at a time, that told a different story. The story of someone who showed up. The story of someone who kept going. The story of someone who changed. Your 7 days start now. Not tomorrow. Not when things calm down. Not when you feel ready. Today. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. James Clear.